I just want to say
Oh, sorry about that.
hi there. I just want to say welcome to everybody and enjoy the program with Miss Anita tonight. And we'll see you at the library. Okay.
Yay! Thank you, Miss Patricia. I love that. Well, welcome everyone. I'm going to spotlight my video so that it is large. There we are. And we are going to be doing our mixed media Cardinal. So you need some construction paper because our tree is three-dimensional, right? So we have our brown tree, and you can make it a little different than mine. I'm going to show you a few different ways to make it. We have our Cardinal, and that is our red construction paper. Now, if you don't have red construction paper, you can use printer paper, and we're going to color that anyway. Nice, nice. I see you've got your construction paper. Awesome. And then we're going to be using some crayons. So our crayons are going to be to color in the tree and also the cardinal. And you also need watercolors for the background. Nice. The only watercolor that we need is blue. You can do some purple too if you want. And you need a cup of water. Awesome. Awesome. Yep. Perfect. Nice. Nice, nice. Okay. And obviously you need a pencil so that we can draw this. Oh, Kate and Lucy are coming on. Let me let them in. Nice. And you need scissors. I forgot to mention the scissors. We definitely need that. Welcome, Kate and Lucy. It's great to see you. We are just getting started here on our mixed media Cardinal. So, and I'm just going to put in the chat real quickly what you need in case you're not sure. So we need construction paper. The colors of construction paper are brown and red. If you don't have those, you can use regular printer paper. So we need brown and red. I'm just saying it as I'm typing it out. We also need watercolor paper that we are gluing everything on. Oops. And we need a watercolor set with brush. And we're also going to need some water. So a small cup of water as well. Cup of water. Pencil with an eraser. Oops. I did not type that out correctly. Pencil with eraser. You'll need a paper towel or some paper towels or a towel to wipe your brushes on. And then you need some crayons. Oh, and also scissors. Let me write that down in there too. And scissors. I think I got everything. If you have markers, you can add those if you like. But we are going to get started drawing our first, we're going to be drawing our tree, and then we're going to be drawing our cardinal because those get cut out. So let me move this and move my camera up just a little bit here. So we need our brown colored paper. Nice. Kate and Lucy, love it. Okay. And so we're going to make our tree as big as our watercolor paper. So our watercolor paper, you want to hold it straight up and down, right? So we can make the length of the tree here. And so what I've done is I've cut it straight down the left side for the trunk. So we're going to need separate pieces for the smaller parts of the tree, or you can just draw it all at once. I'm going to show you with a black marker so that it shows up on Zoom. Now, if you have a black marker and you want to make it black as well, you can do that. So you want to take your paper and you want to line it up right on top of your watercolor paper so that you know how big to make your tree. And then I'm going to go down and make a straight line down on the left. And then I'm going to make the one on the right, but I'm going to start to make some of my branches. Now, you don't have to. You can cut these out separately. Let's see. So I'm looking at my other tree. Okay. And remember, we need to make a branch that's really long so that our cardinal will sit on it. That's going to be at the bottom. So for right now, we're just making our other branches. And you can make them look a little differently than mine. That's okay. Or you can make them look exactly how mine look. And the last branch is going to be for our cardinal friend. Like this. So something like that, and then you're going to want to cut that out. And just to make sure that you can see this large, you want to make sure that you are on speaker view on your device. That way you can see this large. And so now we're going to cut it out and then we're going to color on it. So now you need scissors. And I'm going to cut this out. You know, I really thought when we were going to do this program, it would be snowing. The joke was on me. I don't know if it's 57 degrees today, but wasn't it 57 degrees yesterday, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we could be up in Massachusetts right now.
Oh, I know.
Snowing up in Worcester.
Yeah. Oh, I'm familiar with Worcester. Are you from there originally?
No, I have a niece lives there. I have a niece, yeah. So I
Nice.
saw that on the weather report that there was snowing in Worcester.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have family in Connecticut. So I think they're probably getting it too, although I don't think as badly, but I'm not sure. I didn't check the weather today. I just want one day of snow. That's all. I just want one. And then it can get cleared away pretty quickly. But I feel like I missed snow this year. It felt strange for it not to snow. All right, my friends. So we are cutting out our tree branch or tree trunk with our branches here. Now, I originally cut out the branches separately because I wanted to add more of them, but you can add them as I did with this one, and I drew them on. I decided to do it that way this time. And then we will add some texture to our tree too. Takes a little time to cut out all the little details after you've cut your tree. So just take your time. And I've got one more here. And when you are finished with cutting out your tree, we then are going to be gluing it to the left side of our paper. And I will show you that in just a second, but take your time. I just go a little faster because I've done this before. Let's see. So yeah, I'm going to place my tree about right here. Grab my glue stick. Now take your time. Like I said, I'm doing this because I've done it before. And so you want to flip it over and start gluing. And remember to glue your tree branches too. And got one more down here. Awesome sauce. And I'm going to flip it over. I like to leave a little bit of room behind the tree, but you don't have to. And when you're ready, you're going to press that down. Like that. And voila, we have a tree. Nice, I love it. Oh, beautiful. Good job. That looks really good. Nice. Your tree looks awesome. Take your time, everyone else on the tree. Show me when you, oh, let me see. Oh, nice. Great job. All right. We are all filled with trees. Perfect. Okay. Now we want to grab our crayons. And we are now going to be making some texture on our trees. So you can use brown. You can use black. You can use like a tan color. So I'm going to get out. It depends if you have a bigger set of crayons or a smaller set. If you just have the regular set, you can use brown and black. I have a few of these browns here. And now what we want to do is we are going to start adding some texture. So I'm going to go in closer so you can see. I have a few different color browns here. Let's see. This one's chestnut. This is like an orangey brown. This is called mahogany. And brown. Oh, sepia. Okay. So we're going to start making some textures so we can make lines like this. Let me see if you guys can see that on Zoom. Yes. Okay. So you can see that. And then you know how it looks when you have a tree and it's got all of these circles and lines like this. You guys can see that, right? Thumbs up if you can see it. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So you now want to create some of those shapes in the tree trunk part, like so. And then you can start to extend it into the branches as well. So now I'm taking my brown here. Now, if you want to lighten it up, you can also use a little bit of yellow. I'm just going to show you a little bit what the yellow looks like. So I did the same thing, or I'm doing the same thing with the yellow or with the brown. I'm going to show that up close just so you can kind of see. So see, there's a little bit of yellow in there. You want to make it kind of colorful. Even though it's a tree, it can be a little colorful. And then we're just going to do a little bit of shading when you're ready. And we're going to do that with either our dark brown or black. Nice, Riley. Beautiful. That looks awesome. Sweet. Okay, so now we want to get either dark brown. Nice, Kate and Lucy. Nice. I love it. Love it. Teresa and Maggie are working on theirs. Love it, girls. Okay, so now we're going to grab our black or our dark brown. You can take a pick, and we're going to do some shading on inside of these tree parts, inside the limbs, okay? So I'm going to grab my black because that's going to show up a little better. Oops, or I'm going to like dump half of my crayons on my desk. Either one. All right, now I got my black. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go in close again so you can see. So I've got my black crayon right here. Like I said, you can use black or brown, whichever one you like. And we're going to do a little shading. So that means we're going to color in the inside of this tree limb right here like this. See that? We're going to shade on the inside. And going straight down. So we're going to shade on the inside of the tree going straight down, and then also on the inside of each limb. Okay. So this is with black or brown. And you see that? And all of a sudden, it makes it look a little more realistic. I'm going to make this a little bit darker. Nice. Therese looks like she's ready. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Therese? Give me a thumbs up or you can unmute. Is it Therese? No.
See Therese. Therese.
Therese. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Maggie. Awesome, Therese. Wait, Therese. Okay, thank you. Love it. All right, how are we doing on our trees? Do we have our shading done? Oops. Oh, nice. Nice, Therese. Riley, how you doing? Kate and Lucy. Nice. They're looking like trees. That's what I like to see. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so now it's time for our watercolor. Nice, Riley. Okay, so now one thing we're going to do before we add the watercolor, we need a white crayon because we're going to make snow in the background. So you're probably wondering, well, how are we going to do that? It's a white piece of paper, right? if you look up close, you see white spots on my watercolor. I added white crayon circles to the back of this before I painted, and it's going to show up white after you paint it blue because these crayons have wax in them. So it's a little bit of science here. Wax repels water. So repel means that it's going to resist it. It's not going to let it happen when you paint on it. So I need you to take your white crayon, and I know it's really hard to see because it's going to be on a white background, and I want you to make snow. I want you to make round circles, or you can also make snowflakes, right? So we could do like a cross and then another cross on top. So you're going to try and imagine where you want your snow. So you can go around in circles with your crayon. This is your white crayon. I guess you could do it in yellow too, but then you'd have yellow snow. And we all know yellow snow is kind of weird. So you just kind of have to think about, you know, I'm making snowflakes or snow. And if you kind of take your paper, like I take my paper, I can kind of see it being a little bit shiny when I rotate my paper, and I can kind of see where I put those, but you can't really see it on Zoom. As I just did it, it was a little hard to see. So it's almost like invisible snowflakes right now. But the really awesome thing is that they pop up when we add our blue. So our next step is going to be adding our blue sky. So I'm making a combination of snowflakes that look like snowflakes by adding, you know, 2 crosses. And then I'm also adding just round circles. Now, when you think you're ready, we can get into painting our sky, which is going to be using our water and our blue. And you can even add some purple if you want. So I'm going to show you what happens now that I painted it and we added the crayon. You see what's happening on my page? How cool is that? That should be happening to you too. So your snowflakes are going to appear as you're painting. It's almost like magic. So the fun thing about this is you can make like secret messages to somebody. If you make a card or a piece of paper, like you say you want to put, I love you to somebody, right? You can do it in white crayon or any color crayon and then paint over it. And your message appears. Pretty cool, right? So now we're going to be coloring in our sky with our blue. Like I mentioned, if you want, you can add some purple to your sky, maybe even a rainbow sky. You know, you can add some other colors too. And I like to make my sky a little darker at the bottom, like that. But you can make it however you want. And so if it's darker, do we use less water or more water? Does anybody know? Anybody want to take a guess? Riley, you want to unmute?
Yes, you use less water.
You got it, girl. You use less water and more of the paint. So I'm doing that now. As I get down to the bottom here, I'm adding more paint instead of more water. Now I have to add water because it won't paint without it. But the really cool thing is if I add more paint, it'll get darker. I can also go over it again, right? once it dries a little bit. So we're going to make sure that we cover our whole page here. And then when we're done, we're going to set it aside to dry as we work on our cardinal. Well, I guess we can dream about snow, even if it doesn't happen right now. We can dream about it and paint it right now. I'm curious, what do you guys like to do in the snow? Does anybody go sledding? Do you? Yeah, Riley, you can unmute if you want. Do you go sledding?
Yeah, I go sledding a lot. I have a park across the street and there's a hill that I go on.
Oh, that's perfect. Love that. That's awesome. Do you ever go skiing? Does anybody go
No.
skiing? No.
I've never.
Yeah, I haven't gone skiing yet either.
I want to go skiing.
We'll see.
Sorry, Mom.
Okay.
Didn't mean to put
No,
that.
that's
We went skiing before last year.
You did? That's awesome. So you know how to ski.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I've never learned. And I don't know if I'm too old to learn at this point. Like I'll break something. I'm a little bit afraid. I want to say I want to try. We'll see. So your sky should be getting nice and blue. And again, if you want to add some purple, you can do that too. You can add other colors if you want. I like to keep mine blue. Nice kind of snowy day with blue, but I'm going to add a little bit more color to the bottom. Like so. Nice, Riley. Looks awesome. These are looking good. Oh, what you got there, Riley? Are you going to add something to your picture? You're on mute. So oh, here you go.
I call it a homemade fidget. You can like.
Oh, that is very creative. I love that. So how are our landscapes looking so far? If you're still working on it, keep working on it, because our next step is going to be drawing our cardinal. And I'm going to grab, let's see, I'm going to grab a white colored pencil so that it'll show up on the red construction paper. So I'm just going to step off to the side a second and get my white, because I think white will show up better than pencil, but we'll see. We shall see, my friends. We'll do an experiment here. I have been using construction paper all week. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of things you can do with construction paper. I'm gonna put my crayons down for now. Oh, you know, the other thing you can do, I was just thinking about this with your tree. If you wanted to add some snow on it, you could probably, if you have white construction paper or if you've got white computer paper, you could cut out little pieces of snow with your white paper. I was just thinking that. But we want to put this off to the side and let this dry for a bit. So when you are finished, you want to move it and put it off to the side and grab your red construction paper for our cardinal. And we are going to draw our cardinal. Let me move my brown paper here. Nice. Yep. Get your scissors ready. I'm going to move, you can move your your watercolor. And we are going to start drawing our cardinal here. So, same thing. If you want to have a black marker ready, you can. But if not, we're going to be using crayons to be coloring this. So, we're going to start off. Now, you want to make sure that your cardinal isn't too big, right? So, if you need to get your other piece of paper with your tree on it, you kind of want to look and see how big should you make your cardinal. So I'm going to look, and I want my cardinal to be in between this branch and this branch. So I don't want to make them too big. Now you can make them really big if you want. Maybe he's a gigantic cardinal and that's okay. But I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to say, let's see, how big should I make him? And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to just cut about the size of my cardinal so that I can then draw on that. Okay, so I'll say that again. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our tree here and we're going to decide where our cardinal is going to sit. So you're going to take your red construction paper, and you might want to put your red construction paper on your branch that you're going to sit your cardinal on, and then you're going to cut it to the size of your cardinal. So we're going to cut it in a rectangle for now. Okay, so now what we're doing is we are cutting out a rectangle the size that we think our cardinal will be. So you see now my rectangle is sitting on my tree branch. It will be a cardinal eventually. But that's the size I want my cardinal. And I think I'll make him a little bit smaller than my rectangle. But that's a good way to look and make sure on what you want the size to be, okay? So how are we doing so far? Looks like everybody's still cutting, so that's good. Good to see. Awesome, awesome. Nice, nice. And so when you're finished cutting out your rectangle, you then want to use your pencil because we're going to start drawing our cardinal here. So I'm going to go in close again so you can see the details here. All right, so I'm going to try my pencil first to see if this shows up. Let me see here. Nope, just as I thought. Okay, so I'm going to try the white pencil. I think that's a little better. So we're going to now make our cardinal. So our cardinal is going to be shaped with a really pointy head. So first you want to make a pointy head for your cardinal. And once you make your pointy head, so our cardinal is going to be facing this way with his beak. So, whoops. So now we're going to make the beak like this. So it's pretty pointy. Everyone can see that, right? Give me a thumbs up if you can see the white. Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to continue now and we're going to make his belly. So first, we're going to go right under here and we're going to make his belly. It's pretty round. And then we've got our tail that's happening too. But first, we're going to make the other side of him. And I'm going to erase a little bit of this just so you don't get confused. Oops. Okay. All right, so over here, we're gonna make a line like this. And we need to make his wing. So we're gonna start about right here. And we're gonna make his wing. So first it's round. And it's gonna go down a little bit like this. We doing okay so far? Good. Awesome. Thank you. And then we're going to make the rest of his body behind his wing like this. And then we're going to make his tail. Now mine, I think I'm going to add his tail feathers separately, because I'm kind of running out of room here, but I want the tail to be a little longer. So you can make a line here, and then when you get the rest of your red paper, we're going to cut those out separately. So this is the shape of your cardinal, and we're going to cut him out. And we're going to start to glue him on, and then we're going to color on top of him. We're going to create the cardinal to make it look more cardinal-like. Okay, so now we're going to cut out our cardinal so that we can cut him out and glue him on. And you're probably wondering, well, where are his legs? We are going to draw those separately on our watercolor paper, because they would be really hard to cut out if we did it on our red paper. So the other thing is, at the top, if you want to give him some more hair, so for instance, on this one, kind of gave him some more hair here like that, you can do that. So that means that in our point here, we would cut into the point a little bit. So I'm going to show you. So maybe I would cut in some little snaps here. So maybe one. And then maybe two. And then all of a sudden, he's got some really spiky hair. Like that. So I'll show you again. I cut in there twice. I turned it around, and then I cut with my scissors like that. That's if you want to do that. You don't have to. You can keep it where it's just sort of very pointy at the top. But then you want to proceed to cut him out like so. Awesome. Whoops, I got to fix his hair here. And let me move my camera up now. And when you place him, you want to place him above your branch, because we need room for his feet. Okay, so you want to make sure that he is above your branch, that his belly is a little bit above. And then you want to glue him. So then you want to flip him over and glue him to right above your branch. Okay. So now, taking my glue and gluing him. Whoops, let me make this a little bigger here. I think I'm running out of my glue. There we go. Okay, so now I flipped him over because I want him to face the right side, right? I mean, I guess he would face the left side if he were a woodpecker, right? So now I'm going to place him right above like so. And then we're going to cut out his tail feathers separately because we want to extend his tail a little longer. So when you've cut him out and you've put him above the branch, let me know. I can't wait to see what these look like. I think they're going to look really awesome. I love doing projects like this because everybody's comes out so different. Oh, you've got two, Riley. I love that. What a great idea. That's a really good idea. Nice. So that's an idea, guys. Maybe you don't just want one. Maybe you want two. Oh my goodness. These look amazing. Therese, that looks awesome. Nice job, Therese. Beautiful. And Riley, these look so good. Nice. So we want some tail feathers, right? We want some more tail feathers. So our tail feathers, we can go on a separate piece of our red paper, right? And we can make our tail feathers look like this. Hold on, actually, I'm going to do it this way. Let me see if you can see this. So I'm going to make 3 tail feathers. I'm going to make a long one, a middle one, and a shorter one. Okay, and then cut those out and you can glue those to your tail area. Now you don't have to. Maybe you like your tail the way it looks. Maybe yours is a good size and you don't have to. Oh, nice. Okay, Lucy, I love it. There's 3. Oh, I love it. That's so awesome. You guys are getting so creative. I love when you take my projects and you add your own special parts to it, because that's what makes art fun, right? It's your project. And so then I'm going to flip my tail feathers around. And here we go. Oops. Dropping my tail feathers, guys. I don't know what's going to happen. All right. That's better. So now I'm going to make my tail feathers look like this. And the way I did that was I layered them on top of each other. Let me see here if my glue stick, I may have to get another glue stick. I'm like, look at this. I'm using up my glue stick. I don't know. I might be able to. So you might want to add your first tail feather to your paper first. If you're going to layer them, you want to add your first tail feather first. And if you notice, mine's coming off the page, and I like that. But if you don't want yours to come off the page, you might want to make yours a little bit shorter. So here we go. 2 tail feathers. And we've got another one happening here. We have a 3rd tail feather. Because you can't have too many tail feathers, right? And then I press it down. And we've got a cardinal so far, so far. And when you're done with your tail feathers, let me know. And we're gonna go on to the next step, which is we have 2 final steps. We're gonna create our cardinal to make it look more cardinal-like, right? Because he's looking like a cardinal. It kind of looks like a sort of like an outline of a cardinal, right? Like a silhouette. So I'm going to get my crayons ready here. Black, orange for the beak. And what else? Maybe a little bit of, let's say, I think the black is going to be good. Black and orange for the eye and also the parts in the feathers. So how are you guys doing so far? Do you have it? I see Riley, I think, is cutting tail feathers, right? Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Therese is busy at work. I think she's cutting tail feathers. Kate and Lucy, I think you're gluing tail feathers, maybe. Looks like it. Nice. Riley, I love how excited you are about this project. Oh my gosh, that looks awesome. That looks so good. 3 cardinals sitting on a tree. I love it. So are we ready for the next step? Thumbs up. Okay, thumbs down so far. Okay, cool. That's what I want to see. If I have to see a thumbs down, let me know about it. Awesome. I love it. So we're going to wait for our friends, make sure that everybody's caught up. Okay, bye, Miss Patricia. Okay, awesome. Nice. Have a good weekend, Miss Patricia. Miss Patricia's leaving. She leaves at 5. So we'll finish up with this since it's a recording, and we'll send it to Miss Patricia when we're done. And she'll be sending it out to all of you too. Okay, so we need a black crayon and an orange crayon. We are now going to create our beak. So first we're going to grab our orange and go like this on our beak. So it's going to be kind of hard to see. And I'm going to do this like this. And what we're going to do is we're also going to add white first. And then we're going to color over the white so that the orange will show. But first we're going to use our black crayon. And we're going to make our beak on top of the orange. So we're going to go like that. And then we need to make a line for our beak. So this is with our black crayon, okay? Now, if you have a marker, you can use a marker, but I like to use a crayon. So again, we make sort of a round line like that. And then we need to make the round line that separates the beak, right? The two parts of the beak. So you should have that. And then our next step is we need to make an eye. So our eye is going to be kind of round here, right there. Let me make that a little darker so you can see. And then we're going to color it in, but we're going to leave 2 kind of round parts in the eye. It might be a little difficult with a crayon, but try your best. So I'm just going to show that up close. It's kind of like that. And then we're going to add white to those spots. Okay, so I'll say that again. We're going to use our black crayon. We make a circle for the eye. And then we kind of make a line in the middle of that circle. And then we color around it, but we leave two kind of dots. Yeah, nice, Riley. Nice. And when you're done with that, you can add white to those spots. It might not show up a whole lot, but it'll show up a little bit. That's with our white crayon. I'm going to make the eye a little bit darker by pressing a little harder on my crayon. Okay, now your next step is you're going to take your white and you're going to color your beak on both sides white. And you're probably thinking, well, why are we doing that? That's so that our orange will show up. So you're going to color on your beak white on either side. And then you're going to color orange on top of your white. This is for your beak. So I'll say that again. So first you're going to color on your beak white, but make sure not to color on the black part as much as possible. It'll get a little messy in the beak. If it does, that's okay. You can just redo the black section in between the beak. I always redo it anyway, just so it looks really, really sharp. Nice. It's getting exciting, my friends. How are we doing with our beak? Are we good with our beaks? Okay. Nice. And we want to now create our feathers in our wing. So we're going to take our black and we're going to start tracing our wing. So we're going to take our black, we're going to trace our wing. And then guess what? We're also going to trace around our tail feathers here, like this. I'm going to show this up close. So do you see where I put the black on my tail feathers? So here's one. And then I did it on the other one. So I separate all three of those tail feathers. And then when you're done that, we're going to start doing a little bit of shading. Remember how we did our shading with the black? We're going to add some shading on the left side of our cardinal behind the wing and a little bit on the hair. And we still have to do inside the wing too, but that's okay. We're going to shade first on the left side of our wing, underneath our wing. And you see how I'm doing it really light? Like I'm just taking my crayon. I'm just going to show that up close. You see how I did it really light? I just take my crayon and it's almost like you're coloring, but you're coloring really light. You're not pressing on it really hard because it's just supposed to look a little bit darker underneath the wing. And then we're finally going to make some lines on our wing that look like this. So how do I do that? I'm going in kind of a U shape like this. There's one. There's another. See, look what I'm doing. Watch. Like that. One more. And then maybe one more here. And then it's a little darker right there. Okay, I'm going to show that again, just in case you're not sure. I'm making lines around each part in the wing like this. Bloop. And if you want to make those noises, you can make those noises too. You can go bloop. And then you can, nice, you can do some shading. Oh my goodness, is that Kate or Lucy's? That looks incredible. Is that Kate on the left? Looks so good. Riley, that's looking awesome. We're gonna do a little more shading, and guess what? We have to fill in black around our beak too. Teresa, looks awesome. All right, our last step. We're gonna fill in where our beak and our eye is with some shading with your black. So like this. Okay, so I'm taking the crayon. You know how we were shading? You're gonna shade. And then on his belly, a few little other shading marks with your crayon. You can kind of scribble a little bit. And then our last part, we need legs. So, and feet. So we're going to make feet coming out from the bottom. And then going right on top of our tree limb there. And now I'm curious, I'm going to remove my spotlight and I'm going to stop the recording.